sun's coming down, but I'm coming up just to find myself in the light. Oh, we can try all we want, but it's never gonna feel as right as it never feels as right as nighttime. 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 Nighttime.
Dirt already knew our names.
They tell me I'm rewriting history. I say I'm remembering it.
Papa Legba, ouvri barrière pour moi.
Wait a minute. Why are we running? Those zombies are fake. The first zombies were melanated.
You're right. We were the first zombies.
Yeah, I don't think they have any brains for us to eat.
Miss me with that one. Y'all can't even do the tribal thriller dance, right? Because y'all ain't got that primordial indigenous footwork.
Tiny Brain has jokes. Anybody got any tweezers?
Oh, that's good.
Before dawn breaks in Haiti, before you hear the sound of roosters, there's this quiet moment when the world feels like it's holding its breath. That's the moment the elders say that Papa Legba is walking. Not opening doors this time, but closing the ones that aren't meant for you. Most people know Legba as the gatekeeper, but what they don't know is Legba doesn't just open doors, he also hides the ones that you aren't ready to see. Long before the other Lord, people said that Legba was the first child of the universe, the one who witnessed creation before it even had a name. They say he remembers everything, every prayer, every mistake, every journey. That's why he limps, not from age, but from carrying the weight of every road humans have ever taken. And his cane isn't for support, it's for navigation. Legba controls confusion. If a message between humans get twisted, text misunderstood, a rumor misheard, prayer that sounds different coming out of your mouth, that's Legba too. Not to punish, but to redirect. He blends language like a path in the woods, making someone misunderstand you so you avoid danger that you didn't see coming. Every wrong turn you took could have been Legba saying, "Not this way, not yet." In many villages, children aren't scared of Papa Legba, they run to him. He is the only one that answers their questions without any riddles. There's a story that's told in rural Haiti about a little boy who lost his goat at twilight. Terrified of spirits, he froze at a fork in the dirt road and an old man appeared. Wrinkled like dry earth, he tapped his cane to the left path. The goat went this way, he said. The boy followed the path and found his goat chewing cassava leaves. When he returned to thank the man, he was gone. The elders say that Papa Legba protects children because they haven't lied enough times to confuse the path between their heart and their mouth. Adults get lost. Papa Legba is the only Loa allowed to carry messages between the living and the dead without permission. Baron Samedi rules the dead, yes, but even Baron can't cross into dreams without Papa Legba opening the door first. Legba is the one who allows your ancestors to visit you at night. He is the one who decides which dreams are memories and which ones are warnings. That's why some Haitian families leave candles by the door, not just for light, so that Papa Legba can find the entrance when he brings messages back. Most people forget that Legba has two forms, his gentle sunrise and his storm self. When hurricanes arise, Old voodoo practitioners say that Papa Legba is walking too fast between the worlds, picking up wind with his cane, not angry, just urgent. They claim that the storms are Papa Legba clearing block roads in the spirit world. Your life feel like everything falling apart at once, that storm Legba breaking down old paths so new ones can form. This chaos is rarely destruction, it's usually renovation. People say that Papa Legba will open any door if you greet him respectfully. That's not true. There's one door that he will never open for anyone, and that's the door to someone else's destiny. Always remember, the crossroads doesn't test you, Papa Legba does. Look at your boy Bobby at Watch Real Flicks. Drop a comment and let me know what you thought about this part of Papa Legba and how you felt about it. Hey, if you're new to this page, don't forget to hit that follow button.
Today, we're diving into a dark chapter of history, one that many corporations would rather you not know about. We're uncovering the top 16 corporations that built their empires on the backs of enslaved Africans. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, slavery was abolished ages ago, right? And yes, you'd be right. But the tendrils of this horrific practice are very much woven into the fabric of some of the biggest corporations we know today. These weren't just bystanders. We're talking about companies that directly profited from the enslavement of human beings. From banks financing slave ships to insurance companies underwriting human beings as property, the depth of their complicity is truly appalling. And the kicker? Many of these corporations are still around today, raking in massive profits. So buckle up as we unearth this hidden history, naming names and connecting the dots between the past and the present. Because understanding where these corporations came from is not about dwelling on the past. It's about demanding accountability and justice in the present. Our first stop takes us to the belly of Wall Street, home to the now defunct Lehman Brothers. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? Yeah, they were kind of a big deal in that whole debacle, but their story starts much earlier, steeped in the profits of the cotton trade and fueled by the forced labor of enslaved people. Aetna, the insurance giant, might promise you peace of mind today, but their past is anything but peaceful. Back then, they were busy insuring slave owners against the loss of their property. Yes, you heard that right. They literally treated human beings as commodities. J.P. Morgan Chase, a name synonymous with banking, also has a history entangled with slavery. Their predecessor banks accepted slaves as collateral for loans. So, even the very institutions meant to foster economic growth were complicit in this system of oppression. Even life insurance wasn't safe from the taint of slavery. New York Life, a company that literally deals with life and death, saw fit to sell policies on enslaved people in the mid-1800s. Wachovia Corporation, now part of Wells Fargo, tries to project an image of community banking, but its roots are firmly planted in the soil of exploitation. They've admitted to their historical ties to slavery, acknowledging the role they played in perpetuating this barbaric system. Now let's hop across the pond to the UK, where we meet N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank. This banking behemoth helped finance the British government's compensation to slave owners after abolition. Yes, you heard that right. They paid the enslavers, not the enslaved. Norfolk Southern, the railroad giant, connected the nation, but at what cost? Their predecessor companies relied on the forced labor of enslaved people to lay the very tracks that fueled American expansion. Even the news wasn't immune to the influence of slavery. E.W. Scripps and Gannett, major media companies, have historical ties to slavery through their founders, proving that the pen, or in this case the printing press, can indeed be mightier than the sword, especially when used to control narratives. Fleet Boston, now part of Bank of America, has a founder whose fortune was built on the backs of enslaved Africans. It's a stark reminder that the ghosts of slavery still haunt the halls of some of the most powerful financial institutions in the world. CSX, another major railroad company, also has a past intertwined with slavery. Their predecessor companies used enslaved labor to construct the railroads that connected the nation, reaping enormous profits from this system of forced labor. The Canadian National Railway Company might evoke images of scenic Canadian landscapes, but their history tells a different story. Their predecessor companies benefited from the use of enslaved labor, proving that the stain of slavery knows no borders. Brown Brothers Harriman, a major investment bank, might manage billions today, but their origins are steeped in the slave trade. They profited from the buying and selling of human beings, cementing their place in a dark chapter of financial history. Brooks Brothers, the epitome of American style, has a past that's far from fashionable. They sold clothing made from cotton produced by enslaved people, directly benefiting from the forced labor that fueled the Southern economy. Barclays Bank, a global financial giant, has deep-rooted connections to the transatlantic slave trade. They financed and facilitated this horrific industry, profiting from the suffering of millions. AIG, now a multinational insurance corporation, has a lineage that includes selling insurance policies on enslaved people. They treated human lives as mere commodities, turning a profit from the institution of slavery. Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the United States, acknowledges that some of its predecessor banks had direct ties to slavery. This admission, while a step in the right direction, underscores the pervasive influence of slavery on the financial institutions we interact with daily. So, there you have it. 16 corporations, some still thriving today, whose origins are steeped in the horrors of slavery. It's a sobering reminder that the past is never truly past, especially when its legacy continues to cast a long shadow over the present. It's crucial to remember and acknowledge these dark chapters of history to ensure we learn from them and strive for a more just and equitable future. Because ignoring the past won't make it disappear. In fact, it allows the injustices to perpetuate in new and insidious ways. This isn't about cancel culture or erasing history. It's about accountability, reparations, and a commitment to dismantle the systemic racism that continues to plague our society, because only then can we truly say that we've learned from the mistakes of the past and are building a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Brought to you by, powered, supported, promoted by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. Become a part of something extraordinary. New Orleans International Voodoo Day is not just an event, it's a movement that celebrates culture, fosters education, and connects people from around the globe. By sponsoring this event, you're supporting a tax-deductible cause that preserves heritage, uplifts art and education, and fosters healing within the community and beyond. And we're certainly appreciative of your continued support of this 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time podcast, Monday through Friday, weeknights, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time on a social media platform near you, or by way of our QR code at the top right corner of your screen. We're also appreciative of those who show up and participate live in the chat. Greetings to you and yours, Trinity Time Traveler. We certainly appreciate you for coming through. Nina Lloyd, thank you so much for coming through. Daniel Neal, a faithful and committed member of our community, we certainly do appreciate your continued support and participation. We also want to unmute momentarily our beloved co-host and panelist, Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, community activist, community mother, and community agitator and educator. Elder Reggie, we identify here as Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, also a committed co-administrator of NOIVD, and our beloved Sister Queen Mother Bianca Johnson Plessy, a committed member of NOIVD committee, as well as an initiated member of the Source Ancien. So we certainly do appreciate your continued support and dedication to this platform. I will be unmuting you momentarily. All is truly and indeed a blessing as we unpack our subject matter, our topic, if you will, for tonight. We know it here locally as 12th night. Tonight we want to discuss 12th night, the 12th day of Christmas tide, the 6th of January, which is a very unique and specific day in Haitian culture and voodoo, Terrer Gâteau or Les Roses, or the Day of the Kings. On this sacred day, the 12th day of Christmas, the 6th day of January, we stand at the crossroads of time, tradition, and transformation. The world calls it Epiphany, the Day of Kings, the moment when the Magi arrived bearing gifts. But here in New Orleans, here in the ancestral memory of Africa, Haiti, Central America, and the diaspora, this day carries a deeper resonance. It is the day of Terrer Gâteau, or the pulling of the cake, Les Roses, the choosing of the king or queen who will carry the spirit of the season. It is the day when the veil between celebration and ceremony becomes thin, when the mundane gives way to the mystical, and when the city begins to hum with the heartbeat of Carnival. For today, the world shifts. Today, the drums begin. Today, the spirits stir. Today, the season opens. The ancestral thread from West Africa to the Gulf Coast. Long before the king cake was braided with cinnamon and crowned with purple, green, and gold. Long before the parades rolled down St. Charles Avenue. Long before the flambeau lit the night sky, there was Vodun. In West Africa, in the sacred lands of Benin, Togo, Ghana, the people honored the spirits who govern nature, destiny, and community. They honored Mawoliza, the balance of moon and sun. They honored Legba, the keeper of the crossroads. They honored Sakpata, Hervioso, Dan, and the countless forces who shaped the seen and unseen worlds. These traditions crossed the waters, carried in memory, in song, in breath, in the quiet determination of a people who refused to forget who they were. In Haiti, Vodou rose like a flame that could not be extinguished. In Central America, it blended with indigenous and African lineages. In Louisiana, it took root in the swamps, in the streets, the Congo Square rhythms, and the Creole imagination. And so today, when we speak of the 12th night, we are not merely speaking of a Christian feast. We are speaking of a moment when African cosmology, Caribbean resistance, and Louisiana creativity intertwine. Terrer Gâteau, or the cake, the king, and the mystery. Terrer Gâteau is more than a game. It is more than a slice of sweetbread. It is a ritual of selection, responsibility, and revelation. When the cake is cut, when the baby is found, when the king or queen is chosen, we reenact an ancient truth. Spirit chooses whom it will. Destiny reveals itself in the simplest of gestures. Leadership is not claimed, it is bestowed. And in the old days, the one who found the bean or the baby was responsible for hosting the next gathering, ensuring the continuation of community. Today, the tradition lives on in king cakes across the city, in offices and homes and parades, in crews, in the laughter of children and the knowing smiles of elders. But beneath the sugar and the celebration lies the heartbeat of something much older, a reminder that every season has a guardian, every community has a chosen one, and every ritual carries the memory of the ancestors. New Orleans voodoo, the spirit of the Crescent City, is not a museum piece. It's not a relic. It is a living, breathing, evolving tradition. It is the rhythm of Congo Square. It is the whisper of the river. It is the resilience of a people who survived colonization, enslavement, storms, and erasure, and still dance. It is the honoring of Marie Laveau, the Mambo of the Mississippi. It is the quiet work of root doctors, midwives, and spiritualists. It is the blending of African Vodun, Haitian Vodou, Catholic saints, native traditions, and Creole imagination. And on this day, January 6th, New Orleans voodoo stands at the threshold of Carnival, ready to infuse the season with spirit, symbolism, and sacred mischief. A carnival is not merely a party. It is a ritual of reversal, a dance of identity, a celebration of survival. For this day forward, the city begins its transformation. The carnival season, a sacred journey to Mardi Gras. The masks come out, the crews gather, the beads are strung, the costumes are sewn, the suits are sewn, the brass bands tune their horns. The Indians begin their long, meticulous work of beating, sewing, preparing for their sacred walk on Mardi Gras morning. Carnival is a season of revelation, rebellion, renewal, and remembrance. And it is a time when the city becomes a stage and every person becomes both actor and audience. It is a time when the boundaries between the sacred and the secular blur, when the streets become altars, and when joy becomes a form of resistance. From 12th night to Fat Tuesday, we move through a cycle of celebration that mirrors the cycles of nature, the cycles of spirit, and the cycles of community. And then, after weeks of parades, balls, gatherings, and rituals, we arrive at Mardi Gras Day, the crown jewel of the season. Mardi Gras is not simply a day of indulgence before Lent. It is a day of freedom, identity, and ancestral memory. It is a day when the city becomes a living shrine. It is a day when the spirits walk with us in plain sight. It is a day when the people reclaim the streets, the music, the culture, and the joy that has always been theirs. And on Mardi Gras morning, when the sun rises over the Mississippi, the city awakens in full color. The Mardi Gras Indians step out in their suits, masterpieces of beadwork, feathers, and spirit. The baby dolls strut. The skull and bone gangs remind us of mortality and purpose. The Zulus roll. The Rex Parade crowns the season. And through it all, the spirit of Vodun, Vodou, and Voodoo moves like a river beneath the surface, guiding blessings, protection, and celebration. And as I unmute my beloved co-hosts and panelists and ask them to begin to unmute their mic, our season begins. So the 12th day of Christmas, the 12th night, this day of kings, this Terre Gâteau, this sacred opening of Carnival, let us remember, we are the descendants of survivors. We are the keepers of tradition. We are the bridge between continents, cultures, and centuries. We are the living expression of a lineage that refuses to fade. And as we cut the cake, as we choose the king, as we don our masks, as we dance through the season, let us honor the ancestors upon whose shoulders we now stand, who carried these traditions across oceans and generations. Let us honor the spirits who walk with us. Let us honor the city that holds us. Let us honor the season that transforms us. For today, the gates of Carnival are open. Today, the drums begin. Today, the spirits rise. Today, we step into the sacred dance that leads us to Fat Tuesday and beyond. May the ancestors bless this season. May the spirits guide our steps. May joy be our offering. May community be our crown. And may the city of New Orleans shine in all her sacred splendor. AYIBOBO, Ashe, Amen. All is truly and indeed a blessing. How you doing, beloved Bianca Johnson Plessy? Come on in. Elder Reggie Green. So please do come on in. Beloved Queen Mother Sister Toni Val Martinez. And our first priest, armor bearer, Wild Man Black Hawk Voodoo, Brother Joshua Dollar Tanner. How y'all doing?
Peace, everyone.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
You good,
Yes. We good. We good.
I don't have much to say on 12th night Epiphany and all of that because I really don't believe, what they say it's about. It goes against what I was taught, so I'll pass this torch on to somebody else.
I'll take the torch, Sister Toni, and everyone. Thank you, Kyle Collective Audience. But it's just a little funny little thing that I usually follow. I don't know why I follow it, but I do. And it's called Celebrating the Arrival of the Carnival Season, the Customs and Mass Cruise of the Funny 40 Fellows will gather on 12th night, which is tonight, January the 6th, 2026, in the Willow Street Carbone, which you're talking about the streetcar. At 7 p.m. sharp tonight, the funny 40 fellows will board the streetcar and begin their traditional ride to herald the arrival of Carnival, as Divine Prince so eloquently speak of, down the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line. Of course, Story Stumpers were there with us. And the reason I went and researched that and brought that up because every year Channel 4 News used to always herald this day in. And it became just a staple in my mind, knowing once I see the streetcar ride and Al Hertz and the other musicians blowing their horns and things of that nature, it was ushering in the carnival time. And that's what I wanted to add that. Sister Bianca, you have anything?
Good. That's good information because just like what Sister Toni was saying, I really don't know much about the Christmas tide, like with the January 6th and the 11th and the 12th. But when we're talking about like the carnivals and the Mardi Gras and the masking and traditions and stuff, I like to go to those things and be involved. It is a lot to see and a lot to be involved in, and it's very exciting how everyone do come together to attend these things and, like I say, to see beautiful parades and the masks and stuff. But one thing that I always tend to miss is the North Side Skull and Bone game. I've been trying to catch them for the longest, but I know that they come out so early in the morning in the Treme area. And for some reason, I always end up missing them, but I know that's one that I always wanted to catch because they had a big background history as far as I don't know how long, maybe 1819 when they started coming out to wake everyone up, to let everyone know, the parades coming down in Mardi Gras. So I'm hoping to try to catch them this year, but that is something that I am interested in trying to catch this year when we're approaching into the Carnival and the Mardi Gras time.
Yes. And if I could, I'd like to add also, on the 9th and 10th of January, over in Benin, West Africa, it will be what they call Voodoo, the Vodun days. And I had the pleasure of going last year, and it kind of put me in the mind of Mardi Gras. The people come in, the different shrines in Benin represent with costumes and masks and dance throughout the street in a merriment type way. And it really, really put me in the mindset of Mardi Gras. It's just that the shrines are being honored, where in Mardi Gras, the Indians, the Skull and Bones, as you spoke of, Sister Bianca, the different Mardi Gras floats, the Zulus with its walking warriors and in the light. It just kind of, there's some similarity there. Voodoo is still the thread that runs through it all, but there's some similarities between the two. Yes.
And there's a lot of history and politics and culture and tradition also interwoven with these, again, this tapestry of cultures and traditions in the city. And I'm hoping at some point between now and Mardi Gras Day, Sister Toni will, be a little bit more willing to share some of the history and controversy behind, the arrival of Zulu, at 8 a.m., late every Mardi Gras morning, and sort of the political ramifications, for that. There's a great deal of racist, antebellum, history just beneath the surface, of all this merriment and why we, participate in the first place. I use in the opening the word rebellion. Just the act of covering our face, was an act of rebellion. It was against the law for a Black person to mask or cover their face. It was against the law for a Black person to participate in Carnival or Mardi Gras. So the Black masking culture, starting with the Black masking Indians, sort of forced their presence into that space through masking. You don't know who it is, no one's identity, could be clocked. And it has become a tradition that, that lives on and maintains till today. So much so that in part of the tradition of, the King of Rex sort of giving the city away. And I realize people who don't live here, have no idea what I'm referencing right now. But the Rex parade, comes after the Zulu, and they stop at Gallagher Hall and they toast the mayor, as do all of the parades that pass the Gallagher Hall. But the Rex, which Toni will probably share in another episode, plays a very significant role in sort of the sort of racial dynamic of and history of the city. And they toast and they break glass, but Zulu is sort of traditionally late every year, sort of leading up to that role. And so all of Carnival sort of comes to a halt to allow the Black traditions to sort of take their stand and take their place. And there was a long fought, court case that sort of created this unique dynamic to Mardi Gras that most people who come, certainly the, hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets, usually have no idea of sort of the racial dynamic, the political dynamic that's taking place through this demonstration. And so, sort of as Sister Toni sort of demonstrated, there are those locally who don't, not only do they not participate in sort of Christmastide, they also don't participate in quote unquote Mardi Gras. They participate in Carnival, which is rooted in Black African masking ancestral traditions, of which Elder Reggie has, traveled to the mother continent more than once and has witnessed the Egungun masquerades, the Galede masquerades, the ancestral masquerades, of which the Black masking culture sort of pulls the heart of our traditions from.
Yeah, I don't have no problem talking about Mardi Gras and those histories. I just don't deal with the epiphany. The idea of the three kings 12 days after Christmas. That's what I go against that part. But the Mardi Gras we see today has come a long way through many court battles to get where it is. And the people that are here celebrating it do not realize what the Black people had went through to get what we call Mardi Gras. It used to be two celebrations in this city during the same time. One was Mardi Gras and the other was Carnival, which was mostly in the Claiborne corridor, Treme area, 7 Ward, 6 Ward. In the Black neighborhoods. As Divine Prince said, it was illegal for Blacks to cover their faces, thus they came with the black face. If you notice on the older Mardi Gras crews like Rex, the horsemen and the riders have their face literally covered in what many say looks like a Ku Klux Klan hood. And that's what all the carnival crews used to wear at one time when we speak on the covering of the face. Blacks couldn't do that.
If I could chime in right quick with something that's real contemporary, I'll say within the last 10 years. Right now they have 4 all African American female Mardi Gras crews that rides. And the reason they was able to get charters because there were certain Mardi Gras crews, old traditional crews, who did not want to segregate. And then there was some that did not want to add women to their crews. And they decided to just pull out of the city charter before they would cave in to those demands. And when they did pull out and left, these African-American women was willing and ready and stepped up. To now, today in 2026, we get the pleasure of seeing them bring their crew, their whole parade line in. And I think that is a forward progress also that we'll get to talk about in the coming days.
Yeah, it was a big court battle. That's what happened to Comas. The crew of Comas, which was the last Mardi Gras crew to roll on Mardi Gras night, it just said, we quit. We not parading no more. No, because we not letting blacks in. And really and truly on my end, I can't get mad at them. Because I wouldn't want nobody to force me on who I could invite to my party. You know,
but Mardi Gras is a city. It's the state of Louisiana party. Comas was just one of the tenants that was renting that day. But for them to hold that view, okay, fine, then take your ball and leave the game. But the party is for the city itself. I'm not trying to correct what you're saying. I'm just trying to look at a bigger picture.
Yeah. And like I said, I would have quit also because I would not have wanted anybody to tell me who I could invite to my party, because those carnival crews are not just Carnival Day. They are year-long events. Take Zulu. Before they came up with the ordinance to integrate the clubs, Zulu had already been integrating. It's a lot of white people in Zulu, but you couldn't really tell because they wear blackface wigs and gloves on their hands. But when you have the Zulu picnics and the other Zulu events, you don't see all those white people there. They don't participate. They pay their dues. They pay money to ride the floats. But carnival crews do a whole lot of other things besides Mardi Gras Day. So if I had a carnival crew and they made me have to take certain people that I did not want to take, I would have quit too. Now, Comas still have their ball. They still have their crew and everything. They just don't parade. They just don't parade. And that's my feelings on the matter. Because I'm not inviting them. I'm not inviting them to the barbecue unless they're in my family and I have to. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I don't want the raisins in the potato salad. Thank you. But I would have quit. I would have quit too, because we had our own thing. We stuck to our own thing. I'm happy having my own party. Let them have their own party. And that's fine. Because at one time, blacks couldn't even go on the street for Mardi Gras. Right. Well, let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. We gonna do our carnival.
Yes, indeed.
And see,
Sister Tony, Sister
mhm.
Tony, but that I'm not. That's so rigid in a sense because Mardi Gras is marketed as the city of New Orleans, and I know Comas, I know Pygmy, I know several of the crews that pulled out, and you're right. They still do their balls and hold their membership. They just don't come on the parade route. Okay, that's fine. And if you want to take your ball and do that, then that's fine too. But I am so glad that these women stepped up and was able to replace them. As the tourists come to New Orleans, they still get to see floats on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night, not necessarily the Tuesday of Mardi Gras. And I think people come down because they come down to see several days of festivities. If all these white crews would have pulled out because they didn't want to integrate, I don't know if Mardi Gras would still have the zeal that it has today. So I got
Well,
a little mixed feelings with that one.
but the development of Mardi Gras, I mean, being a Mexican Indian and understanding where that came from, I mean, the creativity that involved our own creation of carnival, I think, came from a very rigid and how can I say it? I understand where Tony's coming from, like in terms of you have your party, we have our party, but it's just like we can't forget what originally created this type of dynamic of segregation. And it wasn't because, you know, us excluded people from the party. They didn't want to include us into many of the different social groups at one point. I mean,
Right.
I got family members that used to be presidents of the Zulu and may they rest in peace. I didn't get a chance to really grow up within that society, but I am aware of the fact that there were lines that you didn't cross. And like you said, like there are white people within Zulu dynamic, but there's a lot of within embracing carnival season in New Orleans and the culture, there is also elements of the fact that culture had to survive and they had to survive around a lot of restriction and a lot of denial. So it's like I would say that I would definitely be, you know, I understand the idea of Mardi Gras, and it kind of over time have developed its way of kind of including people in its own way, and that's because of its foundation of it. And I think that it was a way of them trying to figure out a way of including people, and as it grows and as it continues to um, as we continue to celebrate throughout time, I'm sure it's going to still have those elements within it. It don't make anything okay or right or wrong. It's just the way Mardi Gras is. I feel like you have those dynamics because of the fact that you're in a city where that was marginalized and segregated at one point, and revolution was birthed, and a lot of things was pioneered here. So that's a part of the culture. I don't think we should hide that. I think we need to embrace it, but also be honest about it and be truthful about it, and speak our opinions about it. So I respect both of y'all opinions on that, but I think it's definitely that's how Mardi Gras is and Carnival season is here in New Orleans
Yeah, yeah.
than any other place, I would think. Because the amalgamation of different cultures and everything that's within Mardi Gras. I mean, especially with the American Indians, the Choctaw, the Chitimacha, a lot of the original people of this land and this area. A lot of them is not even. I mean, they're represented within the culture, but it's just like they never have gotten their even due diligence in terms of their contribution. Um, a lot of it was within Mardi Gras Indian culture, but a lot of it was masked because they didn't, you know, they were not allowed within certain parameters of their own land
Brother Josh, before we close out,
to
let me
speak
ask
their
one question,
truth.
then we'll close out. Brother Josh, being that you're a Mardi Gras Indian, are white guys able to be a Mardi Gras Indian? I'm
No,
I,
you can't. That wouldn't
uh
be. that wouldn't be accepted because of the fact that, I mean, you can contribute and help, support,
Oh,
but it's just like how it is in Zulu. I mean, when it comes down to our culture, that culture was birthed from the suppression of people being able to, I mean, from maroon culture of survival, and respect, paying homage to those people, to the indigenous people here that took in
Now
um
suppose they passed
slaves.
a
yeah,
law saying the tribes had to integrate and let white people
yeah,
Indians be Indians.
yeah.
Yeah,
How would you feel? Because right now
yeah,
the second line crews have white people in them now too, which was unheard of.
yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But now, so eventually there is going to be a white masking Indian. Eventually they will be.
Well, there's been one or
Mm-hmm.
two in the past, but it didn't go over well.
I know.
Oh, wow. Wow.
and I don't see how that would go over at all. To be honest with you, I just don't think it's a part of. It's not a part of the history. It's not a part of what being a masculine Mardi Gras Indian
it
is.
it used to didn't be a part of the history to even teach them how to sew suits.
No,
But they are doing it today. They are holding open classes to anyone who wants to learn.
no.
But that used to be a sacred and private as Indian practice. And now we see white people at Indian practice.
No.
So I mean, I don't even know who started calling them Mardi Gras Indians, because when I was a little girl in the 60s, we just said we going to see the Indians.
The Indians, yeah.
The Indians.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And out of the rebellion of being called Mardi Gras Indians, when they grabbed our culture again for the city that care for God,
yep.
They started saying Black masking Indians instead of Mardi Gras Indians.
Yeah. Yeah, they've always tried. You're right about that. I remember my grandparents used to say that all the time. They was like, "We're going to see the Indians." I said, "The Indians."
Just Indians,
Yeah.
point blank. Because back when I was a child, you actually saw real Indians in the crowd.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
A lot of them. From a lot of different tribes. You just was going to see the Indian. But this city has a way of sucking up a good thing and claiming it for their own, because they could make money off of it. Now, we couldn't go to their party, but they came to our carnival in groves to watch us and to party with us. And that's what got on the city's nerves. That so many white people would come and join in our carnival.
Yeah, Sister Toni, but that was due to a lot of the Mardi Gras songs. If you listen to them, they're going to push that Claiborne corridor. They're not pushing St. Charles and all that other stuff. You might get a word or two, but those songs, as I was coming up, like you guys say, it was always pushing the carnival in the Treme region, that whole area.
Yes.
And that's just the truth. Yes.
That was our party. That's where the carnival was going on. It's carnival time, not it's Mardi Gras time. They called their thing Mardi Gras, celebrating their French heritage. We called our thing Carnival, celebrating our Black heritage. So, like I say, I ain't inviting them to the cookout.
Okay.
It's time for us to go, my good people. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to the Divine Prince to thank all our listeners on other platforms. And then, beloved Elder Reggie going to come in with the announcements and his words of wisdom.
Thank you kindly. We certainly do continue to appreciate the support of all of those who listen and participate by way of Facebook, my page in groups, Sister Toni's page in groups, Elder Reggie's page in groups. and from Joshua's page. We certainly appreciate those who listen and participate from our LinkedIn profiles, as well as YouTube, our Twitter X audience and community. And we certainly do appreciate those who continue to support us from Instagram. Toni the second, we certainly do appreciate you. Nikisha, thank you so much for joining us. Ifa Tosin, we certainly do appreciate you for joining us. Land Dance, thank you for coming through. Oh wow. Klawin Dutch, I can't pronounce your name, beloved, Klew. We certainly appreciate you for coming through. Queen Cat, we certainly appreciate you. Annie Goodness, we certainly appreciate you for coming through. New Power Soul, thank you for coming through. Terrible 2, thank you for coming through. Duchess 4.0, we certainly appreciate you. Alicia Viola, thank you for coming through. Amber 1339-1, we appreciate you. Roheria Baby, thank you for coming through. Full of Tiffany join. And Call Me Cassius join. And again, we certainly appreciate your continued participation and listenership. And we invite you to join us again on tomorrow night and weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on a platform near you or by way of the QR code in the top right corner of your screen. All is a blessing. Elder Reggie.
We like to read the advertisement. Tonight, advertisements. New Moon Ritual Prayer and Application Ceremony will occur on the new moon Sunday, January the 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Zodiac of Capricorn. That location is 710 Cluid Street. We call it locally the Cluid Gardens. It is a ritual spiritual warfare gathering because the warfare is intense these days. And then February the 16th is Fat Tuesday. On Mardi Gras Day, we say yay. With that, I say lest we forget. The spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. With that, I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good night, everyone. We love you all, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, and Odabo.
Baby, listen to your grandma. You're not an Indian, no matter what anybody at school said. That mark on your neck, you got bit running around in the yard, that's all. Doesn't change who you are. You're an African-American young man, same as your daddy, same as me.
So
Fire up on them. Drums of Lagos, bass of Kingston. Clash sound for expose the fiction. Listen, pretenders, changing face like chameleon. Pretenders, no roots, no dominion. Fire. Say grandma chucked up princess DNA, don't blend. Your DNA is from Africa, you're not Native American. Pretenders, changing face like chameleon. Pretenders. Princess DNA, don't blend. Your DNA is from Africa, you're not Native American. Yeah. Looking at the mirror, reflection and light. Faking up history, deny. Claiming Hebrew Pharaoh, even Scottish blood. But the truth in your veins run deep like flood. Talking 7-foot aliens landing in the land. Now you're wearing costumes, playing every hand. Culture appropriation from every nation. But the roots of your story miss foundation. Pretenders, changing face like chameleon. Pretenders, no roots, no dominion. Say grandma chopped out princess DNA, don't blend. Your DNA is from Africa, you're not Native American. You bashing by rashes on the daily scene. But when fame comes, suddenly claiming the gene. Double-faced talk, contradiction, loud confusion in the heart, still boast to the crowd. Egyptian crown, Hebrew scroll, Scottish bagpipe still can't fill the hole. Trying on cultures like clothes from a rock, but the tag on the soul say Africa back. Pretenders, changing face like chameleon. Pretenders, no roots, no dominion. Say grandma chopped up princess DNA, don't blend. Your DNA is from Africa, you're not Native American. Pretend not the bloodline, pretend not the shrine. Claiming every story, but you can't claim mine. Truth stand firm, time after time. See the warriors of Africa standing proud while pretendians whisper falsehoods loud. Claiming every tribe, every creed, every face, still losing themselves, can't find their place. Choctaw lie, Cherokee disguise, but the test results cut through the lies. Roots don't bend to the will of a fraud. Africa sing on the drums of God. Pretendians, changing face like chameleon. Pretendians, no roots, no dominion. Say grandma chopped out princess DNA, don't blend, don't match. Your DNA is from Africa, you're not Native American. Pretendians, history bend like a broken pen. Pretendians, fire.